Today, I want to talk about challenges. And of course, the first challenge that defined first part of my life, it's to become the world champion. So I started in Baku, deep south of the Soviet Union, and I grew up, winning events. And eventually, in 1984, I earned my rights to challenge Anatoly Karpov. And the match that we started led to another match in 1985. And we reached the last game of the match. I'm 1 point ahead, but if Karpov wins the game, so the match is tied and he keeps the title. So I needed at least a draw. It's not to lose the game. And eventually he refused to repeat the moves to make a draw because he needed to win, and he collapsed. And that's the end of the game. And the next day, November 10, I was awarded the title, and I was approached by wife of the late world chess champion Tigran Petrosyan, Rona Petrosyan. And she looked at me and she said something that was absolutely stunning. She looked at me and said, "The young man, I'm sorry for you." I was shocked, stared at her. And she repeated, "I'm sorry for you because the happiest day of your life has just passed." That's not the kind of message you want to hear, in the midst of the celebration. Later I thought about it and just recognized that the message contained bad news and good news. The bad news is that she might have been right. The good news is that she gave me something to prove her wrong. This prophecy, you may call it, it was guiding my entire life, because I knew I wouldn't be achieving something compatible to winning the world championship in chess, but I still tried to make the difference. So making the difference was the main goal of my life. So that's also, one of the games that gave me ideas later in the future how to analyze the general performance in decision-making by using chess as a tool. It's all about you recognizing your own strengths and your own weaknesses, be relentless, just in speaking truth to yourself, and creating conditions where your advantages could be important while your disadvantages will not be so visible. Also, you have to understand the the nature of the character of the opposition to make sure that you can create a battleground that will benefit you. Now, there's another challenge that is connected to my my chess playing career. So, because I always looked at chess not only as a sport, not only as an art, but is a very important tool for education. I launched here in this country, in New York City, Kasparov Chess Foundation 10 years ago. Actually, on June the 16th this year, we'll be celebrating our 10th anniversary in the Bryant Park. We also saw its educational benefits that help kids to concentrate, to actually tie the loose ends, to see the big picture, to learn about the legal framework. It's quite just a very natural form of understanding that things, not happening in chaos. So there are certain rules that you have to respect if you want to be successful. And also they can learn something about responsibility. Because if you make good move, you can win. If you make bad move, you lose. And there's no one to blame. And so those are the educational benefits, but also the social benefits. Because what we saw in this country, but also in many other places in the world where our programs have been used, is that kids from these underprivileged areas, they could see chess as an opportunity to succeed in doing something intellectual. Not only playing soccer or just doing boxing or just going to the street, but to succeed by using their brains and being a hard worker. So since I retired in 2005, I joined, I don't want to say political opposition Russia, because the moment you say this word political, people keep asking you about things they believe belong to this domain. So I always urge people to be very cautious by saying political, because it means that you can have a registered political party, you can be the candidate, you can do the fundraising, you can have elections. So in Russia, we're not fighting to win elections, as here, we're fighting to have elections. Yeah, and what we are doing in Russia is more fight to restore democracy and to make the government, make the regime to respect very basic human rights. Just about elections, or what we recently had there, that was called elections, on March 4. So that's the typical image of Russian polling station. So as you see, we have a choice. Yeah. So we're fighting for the future of the country. It's about free and fair elections. It's about, restoration of the democracy. And it's a united front against Vladimir Putin's regime. And I think it gives hope. So we must all seek a life of challenges and speed, and do it at any age, for ourselves, and for our children, and for their children. Thank you.